Welcome back to Crash Bandicoot. Remember, no crude jokes. We're taking the high road here.
I refuse.
Look at this. It's like Road to Nowhere, but even harder. And in the original, those Wumpa Fruit weren't there to guide you. You just had to guess at the partially visible bridge was there.
Oh boy, yeah.
You might also notice that there were a lot of question mark boxes there. Extra lives don't respawn until, I think it's until you complete a level. And I just got sick of completely reloading my save file every time I tried this level. You're gonna have to live without seeing some of the extra lives.
'93, by the way. Like, this game is lavishing you with lives.
I mean, there's a purpose to it. You're gonna get your ass kicked constantly. And that's one of the jumps that killed most of my runs there. Because if you have an Aqualunca mask and you touch the turtle, it spins away as if you had used a spin attack on it, and you're no longer able to make the gap. Yeah, that's one thing physics-wise it's a lot easier to do, is jumping over the hogs. I remember that being very difficult when I was younger.
I was honestly expecting more hidden planks in this.
Well, there was that one stupid hidden box, so... I mean, this level is already difficult enough. This level has a reputation for being one of the hardest in the game, even in the original. And, you know, the new physics make it even worse in that regard. This is definitely a level where it is inferior with more fake difficulty because of the differences in how Crash handles. And this is a jumping puzzle where you have to be very careful about your placement here so that you can actually break every box and get to the other side. How do you think Crash handles splinters? Does he have to pick out a bunch of wood out of his feet at the end of every level?
I'm gonna presume he just doesn't notice them anymore. Like, his feet have got to look like the lumber department at a Home Depot.
Well, in Crash Bandicoot 4, I'm not joking here, this is actually part of the lore. It's established that Cortex used a lot of crate-based experiments on Crash when he was still in the test lab at Cortex Tower. So okay. Yeah, maybe he's just gained much tougher feet as a result of breaking all those boxes for who knows how long.
He just walks it off.
or bounces it off, as the case may be.
That's why he bounces. He's trying not to spend so much time on his feet.
And following that up with another very infamous level, Slippery Climb. And unlike the High Road, this one is a colored gem level. Also, sorry about the temporary dive in video quality here. As you're about to see, I did not want to do this level again after I finished it. This is a very infamous level, and it's the only one of it that's like it, at least in the main game, to have this kind of environment. There's a lot of precision, not just precision timing, but also lining things up so that you have multiple jumping sections lined up perfectly.
Okay, this is traditional late game Mario Brothers style platforming.
Yeah. And of course, there's an embryo stage, which is pretty sadistic. this is also a big change. In the original, you just had this sort of this disembodied hand groping out at you in the darkness from those cages and cells, and they decided to give the guy a full character model this time.
Huh.
Yes, that is a puzzle that they decided was perfectly fine and good enough to put in the final game. In fact, all of this is just one, very long vertical climb upward to Cortex Tower. Strangely enough, these sections with the very fast-moving platforms I actually found to be the easiest part of the level. For me, where I got tripped up was where you have to perfectly time stuff on a very slow section.
You got a rhythm and you know you can't stop, so... But I mean, some of this is sadistic.
Yeah, I think that Ooga-Booga mask saved me right there. I'm thankful for that.
I'm beginning to see why you didn't want to re-record this.
Yeah, much later on I'll talk about how the game handles death, because there are... this, by the way, is the lab assistant. He's something of a traditional endgame enemy in the classic Crash games. You don't really see him in a specific form. There are various types of lab assistants that show up late game. Man, as I was saying, later on I'm going to talk about how the game does have some forgiveness, that it will help you if you die too much. And that's in the original as well. Poor guys, they were just checking for their contact lenses. And if I remember, I'm trying to remember which... Oh, it's this one. I think really the worst part of this, within the original, is that you only get one chance to look at it, and that's it. I mean, at the very least, unlike in the Sane Trilogy, you don't have to break these boxes to get the clear gem. Oh look, there's Donkey Kong and Diddy in the background. They just died, apparently. And keep in mind that before I did say that this is the only level of this type in the main game. Keep that in mind for much later.
I can't imagine they willingly threw away this concept for a one-off, but I've been wrong.
Let's just say that there is cut content, of course, like there is in any game. And some of it has been unveiled over the years. Well, again, we'll get into that later. Crash just looks relieved to have gotten out of there.
Thank God it's over!
And we're officially at the 2/3 completion mark. Hooray. And this is another Crash tradition. Late game levels where you have to deal with darkness, kind of Blackout Basement style. We actually won't be able to get the color gem for this one, because this is the only level in the game where you have to grab another color gem first, backtrack, and then go back to this level to get the color gem that's here. So the way that light works in this level, it's you have your Ooga-Booga mask, and it eventually goes out. You have to keep collecting the masks throughout the level in order to be able to see what you're doing.
Okay.
There are very few boxes in this level. It's almost all just pure platforming. The boxes are apparently something they added, I wouldn't say late, but sort of late into the pre-production concept ideas stage. Because Naughty Dog were finding that the the levels as is were fairly barren, and so they added a couple of generic crate assets and found that breaking the boxes was very fun, so they added those into all the levels. It's kind of hard to nail down exactly when in the development process crates were added, but it was late enough that they had a couple levels gray boxed to test them anyway. I mean, those red-eyed rats there, they're basically just palette swaps of the skunks. And again, they only show up in this and one other level, and that's it. Yeah, it's these saw blades that are, particularly obnoxious. Especially because if you take damage at all, you lose your Ooga-Booga mask.
Yeah, you can't see the level.
Yep. Somehow I managed to get through here. Well, that was anticlimactic.
Cool concept, though.
Yeah, definitely cool concept. And later games expand on that idea a lot more. So, Jaws of Darkness is really more like Temple Ruins. This is not the other dark level. There's another dark level, but that's later on. Yeah, this is... There are a lot of Temple Ruin style levels later on in the series. Thankfully, the hitboxes on those flames are very forgiving. Yeah, I think this is the point in the game where they started recycling ideas. There's only like one truly unique level coming up later on, and it's the very last one. These platforms, by the way, if you fall off them, you die, which is something that's a bit inconsistent. For the most part, and entirely in later games in the series, there's invisible walls around the platforms so you don't fall off, but they don't give you that luxury in this one. Except when they do.
Is there any rhyme or reason at all to when they do?
No, not particularly. So, again, that's something to point out with the TNT stuff there. If a TNT box blows up right next to some crates, it will destroy what's ever in the crates, and you won't be able to get it. That includes that Cortex token I picked up. So here's the alternate path. I think this is the first time we've seen an alternate path. Oh, by the way, there's a box just off screen. There it is. The gem paths in later games are much more elaborate and don't involve this obnoxious jumping. This part, if you go into it with two Ooga-Booga mats, is very stressful because, you get the speed boost, and it kind of throws off your timing. You gotta be careful. Also doesn't help that foreground object was photobombing, and I couldn't really see what I was doing there. Thankfully, this is not a colored gem level. Okay, Coco, focus on a spot in the background so you don't get dizzy. So, I just screwed up there. You're not supposed to do that. Because if you remember what I said before about TNT boxes destroying the contents of other boxes nearby, you have to jump on this snake. And there's another Cortex token. Oh, this game sometimes.
Yeah, they get a little sadistic late game.
You think? And here's the other Cortex bonus level, which gets us the second key. Thankfully, they got rid of the whole key system in later games. You just have to find a secret exit, and that's what unlocks the secret levels. Yeah, that's very tight timing on that one. The Cortex bonus levels also work under the same rules as the other bonus levels, in that if you die even once, you won't be able to play it again until you restart the level. That is, of course, for the original. And in the NST, you can take however many times you want. Come on, there's a bit of climbable scenery there. Why is that so hard to say? Really, the nicest thing I could say about this level is that you no longer have to complete it in one life.
Fair.
This level also has a lot of experimentation with TNT boxes. Oh, I should also point out that this and Part 5 are the first videos that we're recording after the thread has been posted. And I just wanted to thank everyone who's been sharing memories, etc., and those who are seeing this franchise for the first time. I really hope that, at the very least, people are learning things about this series.
Welcome aboard, everyone.
Yeah, it's been a pretty fun experience so far, and it'll be much more fun once we get to Crash 2.
There's not much I can say about this other than the levels are generally unique experiences, and they're getting sadistic late game.
Alright, so, Castle Machinery, we're gonna do that later. Instead, we have to go back to this section here. This is the other Darkness level. And that's what we got by collecting the key.
Fumbling in the dark.
Yeah, pretty much the hardest part of this level is right at the beginning, because the game expects you to backtrack to get a set of boxes.
In the dark.
Yes. So I started with 97 lives. And I cut out about 13 attempts at this. Okay, Aku, now you're just showing off. I like those paintings that they have there. I can't remember if they were in the original or if there was some equivalent.
At least there's not a ton of enemies in this.
Yeah, there are very
level.
few.
Yeah.
The same cannot be said for Darkness levels in some of the later Crash games, but they're also a lot more fair, generally.
Oh.
Yeah, again, this is not a colored gem level, thank God. Really, it's kind of sadistic to me, at least, that not only having these smaller platforms, but also expecting you to perfectly time jumps while you're on a platform that's about to crumble. Get out of the way, what are you doing there? Yeah, I've already recorded, as I mentioned before, I recorded everything for Crash 1. And when we have to do the backtracking for levels that have the colored gem paths, I have cut out everything we've already seen before. So it'll be a much smoother ride than you would normally get while playing the game, yeah. Yeah, say what you will about my Let's Play style, but I am nothing if not efficient with streamlining. This is like some weird combination of a Castlevania level and a really cheap haunted house that, you know, like 10th graders, not 10th graders, like 12-year-olds. I don't know why I said 10th graders. 12-year-olds put together in their house, and they, you know, script out all the jump scares and expect people to be scared.
Ironic because they all jump out and go, Ooga-Booga!
Yeah, exactly. So next time we're going to be doing the final couple of levels before the final boss against Dr. Neo Cortex, but before, well, in between, we're going to get all of the extra clear gems.
Beautiful.